Okay, I'll call to order the Brushy Creek Regional Utility Authority Board meeting for August 28th. And Monique, please call the roll.
President Leffingwell.
Here.
Vice President Abruzzi.
Here.
Secretary Thomas. Director Van Arsdale.
Here.
Director Whitfield.
Here.
Director Navarrete.
Present.
All right, thank you. Next is citizen communication. If anyone would like to come forward and address the board? Seeing no one, citizen communication is closed. The next item is item 4A, consider approval of the BCRUA meeting minutes for our last meeting, July 19th, 2017.
Motion to approve.
All right, is there a motion from Ron?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
From Corbin. Any discussion? No discussion. Monique, please poll the board.
President Leffingwell.
Yes.
Vice President Abruzzi.
Yes.
Director Van Arsdale.
Yes.
Director Whitfield.
Yes.
Director Navarrete.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is item 5A, consider a staff overview regarding the BCRUA quarterly investment reports for January 1, 2017 through March 31st, 2017 and April 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2017.
Thank you, President Leffingwell. Not much to report on these. These are routine. Our financial markets are increasing in terms of the interest rate offered slightly over time as the Fed makes their changes. But as we all know, those changes are slowing down. There's a lot of uncertainty about the direction of the economy. So these are basically no significant changes in our financial position as we stand right now. So for the first 2 quarters.
Thank you.
So I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
Do we need a motion? Okay, we're good.
Do we?
You may not need a motion. I think it's just you're receiving the presentation.
Oh, okay. All right. Item 6A, consider a resolution authorizing the president and/or general manager to execute the financing agreement with Texas Water Development Board for $16,995,000 bond issuance subject to the approval of the participating cities.
Thank you, Mr. President. This action has already been through, as I understand it, all 3 city councils. I see heads nodding. So this required approval of each city council for their portion of the overall approximately $17 million issue. I've got them laid out in the staff report. The timing of this is such that they need an executed finance agreement from us no later than Friday, September 8th. We need, at that point then, we'll have additional paperwork that'll be coming through on all 3 separate bond issues for each of the 3 cities. Our board will have to take action on all 3 of those, of course, and then each individual city council will have to take action on its portion of the bond proceeds. Right now, they're looking at bond pricing starting and ending on September 25th, so we'll know what the interest rates will be at that point. Closing is scheduled to occur on October 12th, and we should fund on those 3 issues by November 30th, as I understand it. So as soon as we have board action on this, if the board chooses to approve, then either President Leffingwell or I will sign off on the finance agreement, and I can get it down to Texas Water Development Board tomorrow if we've got it done, assuming Monique has everything ready. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if anyone has.
Any questions?
I might add in this, just for general information, we are receiving, I'm sure, very competitive interest rates in this. We are getting a subsidized interest rate through the SWIFT loan program. And so I'm expecting that we'll see interest at probably less than 2% on these 20-year bonds. So it's a very good deal, continues to be right now through the state SWIFT program.
Thank you, Tom. Any
Motion
other
to-
questions? Yes, Ron.
I was just going to make a motion to approve.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing no nays, the resolution is adopted. Resolution 6B, consider a resolution approving the BCRUA annual operating budget for fiscal year 2017 through 2018, subject to the approval of the participating cities.
Thank you, Mr. President. The operations portion of the budget that you see before you is essentially unchanged. We had a slight increase of about $26,000 overall for the budget. The primary changes are we have a reduction in needed capital outlay expenses in the coming year, and we are eliminating our grounds, maintenance, and janitorial services contracts, and those savings in total are offset primarily by increases in personnel expenses. I did discuss in here the plan that we have to basically eliminate one of the Plant 2 operator positions that we were unable to fill over the last year because of the continuing difficulty to find qualified and licensed operators. This is not limited to BCRUA. The 3 cities and every city in the country basically struggles with this right now. There are a lot of retirements and a lot of years of experience that are heading out the door around the country right now. So our idea is to convert the unfilled Operator 2 position from last year into an Operator in Training position. It's a term of art, but it's one that more and more utilities are using. And we're also proposing to add an additional Operator in Training position using the savings from our grounds maintenance and our janitorial and building maintenance contracts. We believe by hiring those 2 operators in training, while they'll be doing the basic stuff that was being done like grounds maintenance and all that, we'll also be focusing on getting them trained and licensed as operators. So we'll be looking for people that may not have any experience with water treatment, but they'll have an interest and they'll have the ability to learn. And I've used this before out in Arizona, the utility that I ran there, with some success. So we think it's a good way to plan for the future. It may be a model for the other cities to look at later on, or as I've told them, at the very least, we'll create some licensed operators that they can steal from us if the opportunity presents itself. So we steal from each other from time to time, don't we? So all's fair when you're trying to find qualified water treatment plant operators. But the bottom line is it's pretty much a wash. We'll go from 8 FTEs to 9 FTEs, not including my part-time position. And we believe that this will also give us a chance to maybe look at diversifying our workforce a little bit, because frankly, most qualified water treatment plant operators in the country are Anglo-white male. So when you're talking about bringing people in an operator and training program, it opens up the opportunity to get some bright young people in who maybe will increase our diversification and still have the capability to do the job, do it well, and we'll get them trained up. Within a year, we think we can get them at Operator C level with the state TCQ licensing. And at that point, they would be ready to provide an important function in operating and maintaining our water treatment plant. I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have about the budget.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
All right. Motion to approve by Ron, second by Corbin. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing no nays, Resolution 6B is approved. Item 6C, consider a resolution authorizing the president and/or general manager to accept the transfer of the gross property from the city of Leander to the BCRUA.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just basically completing the process that we started a couple of years ago. You may recall that the City of Leander's City Council volunteered to take the lead in the process of acquiring the gross property in the village of Valenti as the site for our deepwater intake on Lake Travis. That negotiation took a while to get done. It essentially became what I would consider a friendly condemnation. They wanted to maximize the amount of money they could get for the property. We wanted to minimize the amount of money we had to pay for the property. Ultimately, it went to mediation, didn't have to go to a court trial. We ended up with a number that they weren't happy with and we weren't happy with, but both could accept. And so that's done. The City of Leander took possession of the property. They have the title and deed to it. And so we're just getting around to finally making that transfer so that it becomes appropriately part of our property portfolio and our responsibility to maintain. And I believe it's already been through Leander City Council and they've taken action on it, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100% sure either because Robert carried that to council, so not having done it personally, I'm sometimes in the dark.
I think they probably have, but either way, we need to
We
take
have.
action on it. We have
We
to
have.
receive it. Yeah, that's right. We should ask.
We
Rob.
have, and the thing about it is, every time we get, we get,
Sorry about that.
we get an update on what's upcoming, and they always have, at the bottom of the thing, it still says the gross property. And I think the reason it's still there is because we haven't acted on it here.
Right.
Here.
Just closing the loop, so
Yeah.
to speak, on the property, so.
And with that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second. Any other questions? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing no nays, item 6C is approved. Item 7, executive sessions. We have 2 items tonight. I'll read both of them, and then we will go into executive session to discuss both. First is item 7A, consider an executive session as authorized by Section 551.071 Government Code related to the consultation with the board's attorneys regarding pending litigation, to wit, Pepper Lawson Construction LP versus March Construction Inc. et al. And item 7B, consider an executive session as authorized by Section 551.074 of the Government Code to deliberate the employment of the general manager. We've just come out of an executive session and discussed items 7A and 7B. And I don't believe we have any action to take tonight on action 8A. Reconvene into open session to take action as determined appropriate in the board's discretion regarding the employment of the general manager. So we will move on to item 9. Are there any closing comments regarding items of community interest? Andrea?
No, sir. Thank you.
I just like to thank those who stayed. This was an unprecedented executive for us.
Okay, I have no comments.
Good meeting. Good meeting.
This is probably our longest in a while, so good night.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Let's go. All right. This is good.